I'm Sowmiya. I'm from India, and before joining Foster, I have been working with banks for more than a decade. I've mainly concentrated on the corporate banking segment, working in both the business and the risk side of funding corporates. After almost a decade of working, I felt a little stagnant, so I wanted to upgrade myself. I started researching for a lot of courses that I could possibly do to enhance my skills. One thing I was very clear about after working all these years is I wanted to do a one-year program, and it had to be a full-time program, not the online ones. So across the world I have researched for courses in other countries, in Singapore, in Switzerland, in Spain. But what really I liked about the Foster Global Executive MBA program is it had a very small cohort, and they had very specific eligibility criteria with people with certain level of experience. So you have a very experienced cohort. You learn from each other's experiences, and that is something that is really unique about the GEMBA program. We had a core subject called business finance, and we had an excellent faculty for that. I've worked with finance numbers for all my career so far, but this professor made us look at finance from a different angle. He made us picture the entire transaction, picture the entire business model of the company, and fit the numbers into the picture. You will never go wrong with numbers. You will never go wrong in connecting the dots. I think that's something that's very important in the finance industry, and that's a key takeaway for me from that course. I think throughout the GEMBA experience, the staff of GEMBA have been really helpful. They've always been approachable anytime with any kind of clarifications, any kind of help, right from processing my student visa to any documentation that I needed for that. They've been very helpful, and they've been very prompt with that. So that's been a really smooth sailing so far. And the professors here I see go beyond to make sure that we gain something out of this experience in GEMBA. For example, I was sick for a day and I couldn't attend one of the core classes of operations management, and so I had asked for a request for an absence for class, and my professor was so kind enough to reply back saying that I understand the subject that we're discussing today is very intense, and if you're not able to follow it with the class recordings, please feel free to call me and we can have a one-on-one session. And I think that these are professors, these are doctorates who have many other things to do, and to be able to accommodate one person just because I was sick and not being able to attend class, that is the level of commitment they also bring into this course, and I think that's really great. Whenever there's a group project or a group assignment, I've personally seen a multi-dimensional thought process that I think comes from a multicultural background that we are from, and that really opens up different perspectives. Maybe if I've just discussed within my own culture group, I would have never got that kind of a perspective or an outlook. So one thing that the program brings in, and the staff of GEMBA are very particular that they group us with different people in different projects so that we get to work with every other person in the class, and we get to gain from their experiences, their culture. I think one of the really complementary aspect of this program is the career management services that we have. At least half of the cohort of my class are looking for jobs in the US post this course, and I think the career management service is a real starting step for all of us. It's like it is a new geography for most of us, and the career management, the one-on-one coaching especially, has been really helpful in grounding us to this new geography. How do you network with people? How do you connect with alumni of Foster? And how do you leverage the alumni network in Foster? Also, in terms of refining your resume to fit your roles, to fit the culture.